Hello everyone, Frank DeMar with the End Times Research Ministry. Today is the 30th of November. In my book you'll read one of the chapters there about the attack against Israel, and that's a prophecy that remains for the future. And in that prophecy, the prophet Ezekiel was told by God that there would be a host of Islamic nations that would attack Israel in the last days. You'll read about this in Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39. One of those main players in the attack against Israel is Turkey. And in my book, over the years, I've asked you to watch the relationship between Turkey and Israel because you will see it break down. And obviously, if you paid any attention to the conflict in the Middle East, in 2010, it came to a head for Turkey and Israel, and they broke off relations. Now, just recently, Turkey and Israel established relations again, but they're really not good relations, as you will see from this article. And they will remain to be bad relations between these two nations. We know that for a fact because they are listed as one of the nations who attack Israel. So just put two to two together and you'll know that if he's telling us Turkey's going to attack, there cannot be any friendship that will be a lasting friendship between Turkey and Israel. Now, the leader, Erdogan, calls on the Muslims to protect Jerusalem. This is really important because also in my book, I warned about watching Jerusalem, because Jerusalem is going to be the pinnacle. It's going to be the starting point, I believe, of the next war. I believe this because this is where the Muslims have their holy place on the Dome of the Rock. This is the same place where the first and the second temples, the Jewish temples, at one time used to be. And of course, recently over the news, in the last couple of years especially, we've seen the Jews pressing to rebuild the third temple, which is driving not only Turkey crazy, but it's driving the Palestinians also crazy, and any Arab in the area, thinking that Israel may go ahead and rebuild their temple. Now in the news today, with the headline as I just read, the Turkey president urges all Muslims to defend the Palestinian cause and protect the Al-Aqsa Mosque from Israeli discrimination. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan on Tuesday called on all Muslims to defend the Palestinian cause and protect Jerusalem. Keep in mind, the prophet Zechariah tells us that Jerusalem would be a burdensome stone for the whole world. That's exactly where it is right now. The conflict that's coming between not only Turkey and Israel, but many of these nations that are listed in either the Psalm 83 war or the Ezekiel 38 war. I believe that Jerusalem will be the igniter to start, as I said, one of these wars. It goes on to say, speaking in Istanbul at a parliamentary symposium on Jerusalem and quoted by Al Jazeera, Erdogan said, "It is the common duty of all Muslims to embrace the Palestinian cause and protect Jerusalem," adding that safeguarding the Al-Aqsa Mosque should not be left to children armed with anything but stones. So read between the lines here. He is saying, pick up your weapons and use those weapons against the Israelis to protect Jerusalem. Now, for those of you who don't know anything about Bible prophecy, we're expecting two more wars before the tribulation begins. The first war would be found in the Psalms, Psalm 83. And in that psalm, we see those nations that border the nation of Israel coming against Israel, thinking that they're going to destroy Israel forever. You'll read that if you read Psalm 83. And in that psalm, it lists the very nations who will be coming against Israel. And of course, we know what Paul wrote in Thessalonians when he talked about when they're calling for peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes. And we know that the peace process is still broken down. They're trying to get the peace process going again, but it's not going to work. And while they're still discussing peace and security, that's when this war will break out. So that's where we are right now. We're at the cusp of seeing that take place. Now, once that war is done, the Psalm 83 war, and Israel branches out, they take more land away from those nations that border her when they attack Israel, and they win that war. And then what will happen is they'll feel safe enough to remove the bars, gates, and walls that are protecting the Israeli citizens right now. And how do I know this? Because if you read Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39, we see that in those chapters that the attack will come when the Israelis are saying we're living in peace and security. And it says without bars, walls, or gates. And in order for that to happen, the Israelis have to get rid of the enemies who are also focused on Jerusalem. Once that happens, Israel could do whatever they want with the Temple Mount, and believe me, when that happens, the match will be lit and major wars will take place. Keep your eyes on Turkey, Israel, the nations, the border of the nation of Israel first, and then go to Ezekiel 38 and 39 and see who it is that the Lord says will be coming against the nation of Israel. And always keep in mind, Turkey is one of those nations. This is Frank DeMore with the End Times Research Ministry. God bless.